All right, so we're back with another video, and it's always good news when I make a video. Yeah, it's just like this is a little bit like kind of surprising that I'm not seeing like more coverage on this one kind of thing. Something that's going on within the trans coverage kind of aspect of everything. Yeah, welcome to the year 26 during Pride Month. We have more trans legislature going through to stop coverage of medical and surgical procedures for trans youth and adults in Oklahoma. So this is Senate Bill 904. It's really kind of frustrating. And like again, I'm not a lawyer. I'm not like a expert on these things. Do your own research, but I'm bringing attention to certain things that some people might not um have heard about yet. And I see these things because it affects my community. So like, yeah, then I kind of like, so like I'm just surprised I haven't heard like other news outlets kind of covering this more. So yeah, Oklahoma had this kind of emergency act to implement a Medicaid funding kind of ban. It looks like, I'm not 100% sure, but it looks like it's pretty much a ban on gender affirming care for trans youth, but also adults in Oklahoma. The official Oklahoma Healthcare Authority provider notice says that claims involving gender dysphoria and and procedures that can be used for gender transition are now suspended for review. If the review determines that the procedure is done for gender transition, the service will be denied. That's terrifying to me because like for me, waiting so long for like my surgery and like being in my head so much about it, like I've done so much reading and like what could potentially happen? How could this potentially go through that like I don't get the surgery covered or like that I have it like approved by insurance? Does that mean like I'm good? And it seemed like yeah, that pretty much means you're good. But unless there's like a ban, unless there's like a straight up ban, and that's kind of looks like that's what that is. So like I could only imagine if like somebody in Oklahoma, like if I were living in Oklahoma, let's just say we spawned on the map Zanzibar and I spawned on the beach and the beach is Oklahoma, and now I waited how long for the surgery, and now overnight you can't get it anymore. um it's just insane to me. This is what I was like terrified for myself about, so I could only imagine anybody in Oklahoma right now going through that kind of thing. um and I'm just like worried about like the trans girls that are getting procedures done like in a rush to like try to like get things covered and done before like things like this happen, because like that leads to like rushing into decisions, not like fully thinking things through, not fully being like, mature about your decision making. I was potentially going to go in for a lip lift and a trach shave and like fat injections on my face, and I could have got that done 4 days ago, but I waited because I was like, I need to wait to like make sure my back's feeling better. Like I want to be mature about things, but I understand like the administration doesn't exactly want me to get like any sort of procedures like that. So like waiting is just like, okay, I know the risk of like waiting at this point, but what can you do? I mean, like you have to be like, ready for a surgery or procedure, like if you're that's what you're going to do. So um medically, yeah, things like aren't super expensive. People can kind of afford the medication. Maybe not everybody's going to be able to afford everything. That's like the unfortunate thing. And like that's where like I don't feel like trans healthcare should be gatekeepy like that, like that you're just like, just straight up like because somebody can't afford the medication because they're already like overspent, because the economy is tanking, because we're tanking the economy like on purpose, or is that what we're doing? Is that what like the straight thing was, or was that just like a huge blunder? Like I'm just trying to make sense of these things, but again, like I don't know, freaking it's frustrating. So it's just like it just seems like these claims will get reviewed and denied kind of thing. It doesn't say anything really about like a grandfather clause or continuation of care provisions or anything like that I'm really seeing. um but like it could potentially maybe sort of possibly cover things still sort of, but probably not. And like certain other states, like if things were implemented like this in my state of Pennsylvania, that like it would maybe be litigated a little bit differently. Like maybe like things would be grandfathered in, or like it all depends. Like this is like really frustrating times to be like messing with somebody's care that like again this like just because you don't understand it doesn't mean that you should interfere with it. It's not as expensive or whatever as like a lot of people probably think. I mean, I think the payoff to like societally is probably a lot better than to have like sad persons lingering. I look at countries like I think it's like what like South Korea or whatever, they do like a lot of plastic surgery. Like everybody seems to be like I don't know happy in their own way. So like anyway, the other thing that I wanted to get into with this that's like frustrating is there's other states that could potentially adopt policies similar to Oklahoma's, like this kind of like emergency provision to change like the funding kind of thing. And that would be like Texas, Florida, Tennessee, Missouri, Alabama, Oklahoma, well, Oklahoma and Arkansas. Um, Obviously Oklahoma, but um, yeah, it's just like it's really frustrating because like if you live in one of those states and if you're like in the process or waiting for surgery kind of thing, I would be a little bit more like weary, kind of like maybe a little bit more on edge kind of thing. Um and going through like Medicaid coverage to get that covered. So yeah, it's just like it's just really frustrating times. Like I mean, but I can say how many freaking times. We also had like more of a, trans youth kind of thing, but like Aaron in the morning reported that there was a congressman, um, a Democrat that voted with Republicans to defund trans friendly schools. Um, I don't get it. We already talked about this. Like you don't want to be like you don't want your teacher to be your kid's first bully. You don't want like I don't know. It's just why make a war that didn't need to happen, or like why make all like literally so many extra frustrations for so many people in so many places across the entire United States for no reason that like maybe people would have left the trans person alone if we didn't have this administration, or maybe like I mean it's really frustrating to read these things, but bringing some attention again, it's just like not to like that's why I'm like always kind of saying like I don't really like see myself as like Democrat or like Republican, like because like I like to think about things in my own way and stuff, and I think most people kind of are free thinkers in some degree, but then they like lean toward one direction kind of thing, and it's like obviously trans people are just leaning toward the side that doesn't want to kill them, but it's hard to it's hard to like just stand it anymore. Yeah, it's scary because like so like I've just been worried because of like so there was also that other news story. I wasn't really going to talk about this, but like within New York about I think it was like trans youth funding for like 27 fiscal year being $0 kind of thing, when they kind of said they were going to try to push it in a different direction. So it's just like it's really frustrating. It's really frustrating times because it's like I don't want to see, good trans people suffer for no reason. Does that make sense to anybody? Jesus. I mean, yeah, so here's another thing that I wanted to cover real quick because we haven't like talked about this super super recently, and I know like I haven't heard much about this so much lately, and I don't know if like people just thought like again if this is just like already into effect kind of thing, which it isn't. It does go into effect July 1st, but again I'm talking about the Idaho bathroom ban for trans people, that they have to go to the bathroom from when they were born, like the birth gender kind of thing. So it's just like that's another frustrating one because like that's coming up on July 1st. We also still have the Kansas stuff going on that like it hasn't like really changed, that like Kansas isn't allowing any new gender marker changes. That's on driver's licenses, that's on birth certificates. And I'm trying to see. Let's see. So like, yeah, as far as like the Kansas like driver's licenses and everything, like the previous like uh ID changes, like the gender markers and everything, they're still invalid. So like we're still dealing with that there. We're still dealing with this Idaho ban. We're now dealing with like these Medicaid bans popping up for like trans adult care as well. And then whenever that leads into like, starting big with like surgeries and like, medical transitioning, that's like the big coverage kind of points, but then like blood work, stuff like that, that's also very like critical and important to overall maintaining your health and well-being as a trans person. So if you start cutting funding for that, and for the people that actually do go for their blood work every 3 months, every 6 months, whatever your routine is or whatever you're going with your doctor kind of thing, and you're now unable to like afford to like manage your levels and make sure that your levels are in check, you're now like losing the ability to monitor your levels properly. You're opening yourself up to risks of other health risks and complications, blood clots, etc. I mean, it's just like you have to understand that there's like a certain amount of estradiol and like testosterone that have to be in a cis woman or a trans woman or a cis man, trans man. Like, it's kind of like, I mean, it's just, so I don't know. It's a lot to digest, and I'm just exhausted. I'm still just like exhausted with everything. I've still just feel like after a certain point with it, I've just been like, okay, things are like just freaking, it's like overwhelming, and like I'm hoping the global economy does fine. I'm like, you can only pay attention to so much as well, and so many people I see in like my day-to-day life only really see and live and interact with like what they're seeing and living and interacting with. They're not like watching the news, they're not like paying attention to these like other news outlets that are like really like going into detail of like what's happening on a global scale and what financially could be coming around the corner kind of thing with like gas prices and stuff, and like how you should kind of be saving up a little bit right now if you possibly can. I know it's not easy for a lot of people, but just kind of like little bits of advice there, I guess. I don't know, it's really freaking frustrating. um Basically, the last thing that I want to leave with is for like the fear of like if things are gonna like get like really bad, or like coverage is even going to affect you in like a blue state kind of thing, um and you're on like Medicaid and you're worried about coverage, and I feel like this isn't going to fall upon the ears of the people that it needs to in the time that it's going to need to, but I'm still going to put this in. But yeah, I would just say like if you're planning on getting like surgeries or whatever and you're on Medicaid, maybe try to get that done sooner than later. Not to like jam pack like surgeons' offices and crowd things up for people. Um, but I don't know. It just seems like there's a lot going on across the board. It just seems crazy that we're like removing like weather sensors in the ocean right now, and that like trans people's health care being covered is still like an issue. Like I don't understand what this is. It just seems like we're just doing everything we can to hurt people right now. And the longer we descend into this, like the longer it's gonna take to get back to like some sort of civilization, normal stability. I don't know. I don't really know. I don't know where things are gonna go from here. I'm not a fortune teller, unfortunately. But like I do wonder, like I don't know. I just wonder like how things are gonna play out in the future, and I just wonder how like what's going to end up being like the overall laws or decisions in these court cases and stuff, and like am I currently living in a window, a bubble, if you will, of profound freedoms that I am taking for granted right now because I don't know that I'm about to lose them, kind of thing. Not to put like a fear-mongering kind of like headspace into the other trans people out there. I think like I think it could go like honestly either way. I don't know. I don't understand why it's become like such a big issue. Well, like I kind of do. Like again, it's just like the scapegoat thing. I mean, I continue to say that like I don't understand, but like I do. They were like the easiest to like target. least understood. We're not everybody's lifestyle. We're not everybody's cup of tea. Not everybody wants to date a trans person. Not everybody understands trans people. Not everybody wants to understand trans people. And that's fine. But like, we should be allowed to live our lives too. I mean, I look at other countries. I look at other countries and I just like, I think like, what happened? Like, at what point did we get to be like how we are so much that, I don't know. I just wish like things could be a little bit more like Japan, China. I mean, yeah, like the work schedule, routine, stuff like that, impossible. That would be miserable. But just like the cultural, just like the way of life, just the experiences we're having is like societally as a culture, as just like individuals, as just as in our own experiences, I feel like is so removed from what it could be. Like the size of cars and the inconvenience of cars. I'm rambling. I've literally turned this into a rambling video. But like, I don't know. We're so inefficient already. And it's just like, why are we, I don't think like the efficiency is where you think it is whenever you go after trans people. Like, I think the efficiency that you're trying to achieve, like, oh, okay, maybe less medication, transportation, whatever, less, I don't think that's even it. I don't think they care. I don't think this is even like a consideration really, because there's so many pharmaceuticals transported daily that I don't think that's like the issue. I think the issue is just us existing. It's just us existing, just us, existing. Do I gotta show my before picture again? The one with the terrible hairy neck beard. But yeah, so I don't know, with the future videos, hopefully some more good news pops up. Hopefully some decent news pops up with freaking Pride Month, that'd be nice. Still like in this like gray area kind of thing. I feel like, and I don't want to like jinx things, but like I feel like coverage for trans adults at large is going to be at risk in 27 through state programs kind of thing. I'm hoping that's not the case. I know there are a lot of trans girls that get their medication through that way. Again, it's not the most expensive medication in the world, but whenever the economy is like as crazy as it is, whenever like you don't know, and when gas prices are fluctuating, when like there's so much uncertainty, you don't want to throw in another thing, right? Like, does that make sense? So frustrating times. Hopefully things get better. I hope everyone has a good Pride Month, by the way. I'm probably not going to do too much, but maybe I'll make a couple more videos. We'll see. So until the next one, and hopefully it's freaking country, man. Hopefully this country starts like wising up. Just leave us alone. Seriously, leave us alone. Leave Britney alone. Leave her alone.